Okay, everyone, I'm here. Welcome. Sorry for last week. I had something come up, so I was on the road, and so I really couldn't make it to to the session. So sorry for those of you who joined. We tried to get an email out, but you know, um, I didn't quite get out, but that's fine. Um, that's why we have how many recordings? 69 recordings, 69 sessions recorded at the top that you can go back and practice with. So, anyhow, welcome everyone. Welcome to those who are new. Um, I'm saying hello and goodbye at the same time as I am going into retreats on Wednesday for the next 5 weeks. So, but we'll get to that soon. But welcome to those who are new. This is Medicine Buddha, a guided practice coming from the Medicine Buddha teachings, from the Sutra of Medicine Buddha, taught by the Buddha, and then from the Tantric practices and commentaries um, as well. So I'm glad you could be here. Welcome to those who, have always have been coming for a while. Some of you have been hanging in there for a while. As you know, the space was created at the beginning of the pandemic um, I just kind of felt that since we're in this pandemic, Medicine Buddha would be the practice, and we still are in a pandemic. Um, so, um, so we continue to pray and to practice as well. So thank you all for being here. Again, um, I think Karen has posted the link to the Google Doc for the prayers, so go ahead and put those prayers in. I'll offer those later. Also, questions. So if you have questions that you really, really need answered, this is the time to do it. So you can put those into the ask a question box at the bottom of your screen. Um, and I'll get to all of those today in this session, okay? Um, let's see. And what else? So, yes. So, I am going into retreat this week. So, what that means is that we have been able this past month, through the support of many folks, to get a group of practice leaders. I wouldn't say trained. I don't think I do training per se. I just say, okay, can you do this? And whatever you can do is fine. It'll be fine. But we do have this really wonderful group of practice leaders who are stepping up to continue the space, and we should be able from now on to keep the sessions going without me. If I can't do it, there'll be someone to step in. So finally, that's been a monumental shift as well. So, and those folks will start next week, and I will be back on October 10th um, in the fall. you know. So I wanted to say a few things. I wanted to get into practice really quickly as well, but I wanted just to say again how appreciative I am to those of you who are really coming forward to help hold space um, while I'm away, because it's really important, I think, for the space to continue going, and it's even more important for it to continue going without me, um, and so that we can start relying on community to start deepening the practice. Um, and it's really such a powerful way to give back to practice community is to hold practice space for folks to continue the practice. And that's, if we want to talk in terms of merit, that's really quite a super meritorious offering. When you are an agent supporting people's spiritual practice, which in life is the most important thing that one can do is spiritual practice, right? When you're able to support that, um, that is a tremendous offering, huge, amazing offering. The angels praise and sing your praises for offering that kind of practice back to the community. And for many reasons, this is why I do what I do, because I understand that this is the most important thing that I can do with my life. Is to not only get free for myself, but also to help others get free through practice. So thank you all, everyone who's signing up for rotations through this. It's going to be really wonderful. Um, Everyone's going to offer something different, and this is the spirit um, of this tradition of Medicine Buddha that I'm establishing. Is that we want to just open into Medicine Buddha and let the practice shape itself, and let community come together to shape practices. And this is really how, early tantric communities practice, right? I mean, like it's not like people had texts that they were doing. It was just people just doing really simple practice together, ancient practice, right? They were bringing practices from other ancient lineages into new ways of practicing. And people were practicing solitary and alone, and then they were coming together in groups, big groups, small groups, and practice would shape itself from there. And this is something that we always have to remember: the spontaneity, the fluidity, the openness. That practice should always be, right? Practice should never be rigid, right? Or I would say even predictable, right? I think practice should be a surprise, right? And I think that's important, to let go of expectations with practice. Like, you should never have expectations when you do practice. Like, you should never expect things to go well. You should never expect things to go bad. You should just start practice, and whatever happens, happens, right? That is another core teaching of tantric practice, is that whatever happens, happens, right? What we can do is create a really solid intention, right, and bring a lot of awareness and skill into practice, and then whatever happens, happens, right? Beyond that, so I think we're following in an ancient tradition of practice, right? After I get back in October, we have lots of stuff to do. We're going to be all very busy with lots of stuff, but what we're going to do is do some really intensive mantra practice, right? And I'm going to offer it's of course a very traditional way of working with mantras that come directly out of the tradition, but of course I'm going to innovate it in a way that makes sense for our practice right now. So we're just going to essentially be accumulating mantra recitations, right? Which is, I think, so important in building the energy and connection to a deity, is through the mantra. So we'll be doing that. We'll start that. I'll also start that with those of you who have been initiated into Chinrezi, which I just launched in the past 2 weeks in Easter Mass, Massachusetts, and Wonderwell, up in Wonderwell. You'll be getting more information about those groups, hopefully, when I'm away, the practice groups for Chinrezi as well. So a lot of the practices will start mirroring each other. Medicine Buddha, Chinrezi, the practice of the Divine Mother. Amitabha will be coming back into rotation in the schedule as well. And so, yeah, lots of stuff for the fall, including our Bhumi Sparsha in-person retreat the last week in October. I hope, for those of you who can make it, I hope you can come. I hope those of you who are local here in Atlanta will be able to make it as well. I think it's going to be a really, really great time. Not like a retreat, Like it's just a really, we're just gonna be doing stuff like this, and I see Miss Aisha here, who will also be, is also one of our community teachers, will be joining us. Lama Justin will be here. I know others, Karen Nelson will be also teaching, offering movement, um, and some of our favorites, from the community, I think, will be a part of it. So anyhow, and let's see, what else do I want to mention? Thank you for those of you who joined me um, on, the different events I've been doing up in the Northeast. For those of you who joined me for, the Small Chinrezi gathering in East Hampton, and for those of you who joined me virtually or in person at Wonderwell up in New Hampshire. We had a great time. We did all the things. It was definitely a situation where a lot of people, we didn't know what we were getting into, but we got into it. I think it was good. Yeah. It was amazing. It was amazing and really great. I want to thank Sister Sadada and Zach for helping, assisting me with that retreat. And as you all knew, for those of you who were at the retreat, I was one of the founding teachers for Wonderwell, and was a core teacher for a couple of years, one of the main teachers for the Natural Dharma Fellowship as well, until that kind of transitioned on into Radical Dharma work. So that's that, and also finally those of you who joined me for at Chautauqua, at the Chautauqua Institute, which was fun times. I do have a recording of that talk, which we may release at some point. I'm not for sure yet. But it was a lovely talk. Thank you for those of you who may have joined me at Chautauqua. It was a really lovely experience, and in many ways an honor to be invited to share with the community as well. I had a really at Chautauqua. I had a really you know powerful, important teaching from an elder, from an indigenous elder. Um, and I'm really grateful for. I may talk about the teaching, but anyway, I may just keep it to myself. I'll see what happens. So I had a really wonderful time there. So yeah, so again, welcome to all those folks who are coming in from those locations that I've been working at. And so one more thing about our practice leader rotation. Please continue to come to the sessions. Please continue to support the practice leaders. This is a really, and like this is a huge thing to do. Like, I've set up something that takes a lot of courage to step into, and I think that the practice leaders are doing a really good job in holding and beginning to hold this space, right? So please show up, please continue to come, please be supportive as well, and all the things. And so lastly, I would like to request prayers from myself as I go into retreats, just to hold space. And so every evening, roughly about this time, I will be in practice, in my own ceremony practice. So it will, and every Monday, I hope to, and probably will be able to, to really kind of link into this space as well during my practice. So it'll be wonderful for us to come together. Um, Majaya, do I have a picture of Majaya? Always, I'm always trying to hold up a picture of Majaya, but I can never find one. The picture is over there. But Majaya, who is founded one of the lineages I study and practice in. Um, she would, um, so every evening she would go into like meditation, like we would say samadhi, like meditative concentration, but she would just go into the state of consciousness where she would connect to her students, and she, you know, I think a certain extent, really liked her students to be practicing at certain periods of the evening so that she could join them in like this state of consciousness. And she would, there's a story um, about how she would, you know, go into these states, you know, and check in on people's practice. I mean, she was awakened. She was awakened, so, you know. But she would go into these states of practice and check in on people. And if she didn't like connect to someone, or if someone wasn't practicing, she would come back in a, you know, in a public venue and be like, "Where were you? You know, you weren't practicing. I was looking for you." I won't be doing that. Just I don't tell that story to say that I'm going to be doing that. I just say that that is kind of like a custom in certain lineages for people to across the spiritual community to be practicing at the same time together as well. So anywho, so I say all that to say that I will be practicing every Monday evening, definitely until October 10th, and then my practice will be changing after that as well. Prayers, yes, yeah, just like prayers. Um, I'm gonna need a lot of those as well. I have never actually done anything like this before, um, and it's not that I'm anxious or anything, but you know, it's just like an evolution of practice. Like I'm gonna go into the wilderness, you know, and pray and talk to the land and the spirits um, and do some land healing and whatever it may be, and talk to God. You know, go talk to God. Um, so that's what I'll be doing as well. So yeah, lots of prayers. I just really appreciate it. I think that is it. Um, I'm just gonna check. So let's just check the questions. Those are for the retreat. Everything should. Oh, so I think basic info should be coming up sooner than later. We have found a location, actually right in my neighborhood here in Atlanta. And so that's done. The schedule will come out pretty soon because we've been working on that. And lodging, you can make that determination for lodging um, afterwards. So actually, I'm not the one to ask about details for anything. Um, even if it's details about my life, I can get really confused about things. Um, yeah. So anyway, email Cecily, Cecily or Eric for that info as well. If you have any questions, that's Eric at boomisparsha.org and Cecily at boomisparsha.org. Okay. Um, Again, more questions, and maybe you'll have questions at the end of practice. That'll be fine as well. Um, so yeah, I mean, let's just begin. Let's just like get into practice. Yeah. So, as always, just allowing your body to come into a position that feels appropriate for you for practice. Right? And I invite you just to move into setting an intention for practice. And the ultimate intention is to get free and to help others to get free. So we only practice to get free. We're not practicing um, to be happy. We're not practicing to be comfortable. We're not practicing to get rich, right? We're not practicing for anything except for liberation, right? Liberation, freedom from duality, right? Freedom from the binary, freedom from delusion, right? To remember our essential state of mind, which is space and emptiness and clarity and energy, right? Bliss. And bliss, bliss is the energy, the sheer energy of the mind is bliss. And bliss is something that we can't experience in the body because our physical bodies can't hold bliss, right? But our minds are bliss. But in this form, in this incarnation, the physical body is only so much the body can handle. And we can't even deal with, I mean, 1% of 1% of the bliss mind. Like, it's minuscule what we can actually hold, right? But it doesn't stop us from turning, into bliss as a training, so that when we are transitioning out of the physical world, right, and we're when we're returning back to energy forms, like, so as we make that return, like, we'll have the training of turning into the bliss, and we can hold that in our energy forms, but not so much in our physical forms. Anyway, this is why we practice, to return back to remember what we are, not who we are, but what we are. Like, possessing this innate Buddha nature isn't a who, it's a what, right? It's a what. We're remembering what we are. So I'm practicing to get free and to free others, to remember who I am, or what I am, rather. So shifting your attention down to the seat, noticing the weight of the body making contact with the seat. And just trusting the seat to hold you right now. And as you trust the seat, I wonder if you can surrender even more to the seat to hold you, letting go, falling into the seat. And this can be the first stage of care we experience here, the care that the seat is offering, surrendering to that experience. And then the weight of the body, really, and the sensation of the body making contact with the seat becomes an anchor, right? A mental anchor for our attention that gently holds our attention and invites us to let go of fixating on everything else and just allowing our attention to be held by this anchor, this sensation. And even at this point, the consciousness of medicine Buddha can arise right here, right? This surrendering, this anchoring, this holding, this care is really the origin, in a way, of medicine Buddha. Right? The healing starts with the surrendering, the letting go, falling into something that can hold us. And that surrendering begins to bring back into balance, right? These dualities. And once things are balanced, then the door into the ultimate, the essence, is opened. But nothing, we can't get free until we get balanced. We come back together until there's a wholeness. And then you let go of the wholeness. And the mind floats back into itself. Right? So when there's a separation, the mind is fragmented. So opening the mind, relaxing the mind, begins to bring things together. And in that togetherness, we can release back into the essence. And let's offer our first prayer, mantra to Medicine Buddha. Men la sangye kino soha. And so men la sangye kino soha essentially basically means, Medicine Buddha, please think of me, please know me, please come here. Sometimes I think, oh, it means, hey, Medicine Buddha, here I am. What's up? So we'll beginning first with chanting and then moving into the mantra itself for a couple of chants. Beginning with Om La Sange Kino Soha. Om La Sange Kino Soha. Om La Sange Kino Soha. So even at this point, imagining that the consciousness of Medicine Buddha is awakening here. When you're ready, shifting our attention even lower, touching into the earth. Right, so the energy of our attention touching into this massively awakened consciousness of the earth, of the mother. And our awareness or our attention is like a drop of water into the ocean, to this expansive, boundless ocean of the Earth's consciousness. So we're just like this dip in the ocean of the Earth. But we still dip, we still touch, and in touching, we become an extension of the earth, of the mother. So again, turning our attention to the base of our spine. And imagining that we're breathing in and out of the base of the spine. Now turning our attention back down into the earth and connecting to the energy of the earth, like the energy of foundation and stability and nurturing. And as we connect to that energy, we will begin to imagine that we're breathing this energy, inhaling this energy into the base of the spine. So it's as if we're breathing up into the base of the spine, allowing the base of the spine, which is the root chakra, to begin to fill and awaken with this energy of the earth. You know, which is quite auspicious since the root chakra is particularly an extension of the earth. It's a chakra of home and grounding and security and safety. So we're awakening that chakra with the energy of the earth that we're inhaling into it. And for those of us who really struggle feeling like we belong or feeling as if we're held, this is really a really powerful practice to work with. Connecting the root chakra with the consciousness of the earth can really help us to feel like the earth has us, is really holding on to us. Just a few more inhales here. Again, imagining that the root chakra is really waking up, getting really active, really like merging with earth energy and the consciousness of the earth. So now, shifting our attention to the exhale now. Just imagining exhaling this energy that's collected and intensified in the root chakra. Exhaling it out now into the heart chakra. So inhaling into the root chakra, filling the root chakra up with the energy of the earth, and exhaling that energy up into the heart chakra and releasing that energy into the heart chakra. So another way to think about this is to imagine that the root chakra is just overflowing with this abundance of energy. So you're just exhaling that excess energy up into the heart chakra and allowing the heart chakra to fill and to expand. And for those of you who were practicing with me the past couple of weeks, you know we've been doing a whole lot of hard work. Opening the heart chakra, expanding the heart chakra. Because many of us feel really contracted right now. So connecting essentially the heart with the earth is what we're doing. And of course, in the process, the heart really begins to open. And the heart chakra, radiates with the color green, not red. The red is the root chakra, but the heart chakra is said to be green. Of course, green is often the color in Tantra of activity, of karma, of efficiency, doing, right? Fulfillment, fruition, you know. It's also the chakra of like summer. Like summer is the awakening of everything. This is the point in the year where everything is full on, right? Literally, like it's just the things that we don't even want to be full on are full on right now, but everything's going, right? Pumping, going, producing, right? Everything's alive, everything's awakened, everything's buzzing. And of course, this is all in preparation for the fall, for the autumn, right? And autumn meaning the fruition, the real fruition, the harvest. Like this is what our activity has produced. Like a richness, an intense sweetness, right? And that sweetness is what we hold on to and embody as sustenance as we go into the rest, the sleep, the rest of winter. So allowing the heart chakra to open and to be active, to feel, to expand, to touch, to be curious, right? We feel that. And so the heart chakra begins to radiate with this, of course, green energy. And this energy begins to be radiated out through the body, awakening the whole body system, our physical bodies, our mental bodies, our energy bodies, awakening our embodiment. And so it's here, right? As the heart chakra is radiating this green light throughout the body, this radiance of, of just being awakened. Right? This is the energy just of being awakened and moving and fluid, of active, being active. And we'll begin our first round of mantras here. Just allowing the heart chakra to continue to awaken and to radiate throughout the body. And really getting used to that before we move into our prayer requests. But we'll offer this energy out to all those we're praying for. So Tia Town Bacon say Maha Bacon say Rasa Sumugata Soha. Right. Right, that's essentially what our mantra is communicating, that the essence of everything is free from suffering. Not just suffering itself, but the causes and conditions of suffering. May it always be so. So we begin. O te ata begenze ma begenze raza sumunga te soa. Te ata begenze ma begenze raza sumunga te soa. Te ata sumunga te soa. Te ada ore yunze re yunze ma re yunze raza sumunga te soa. Te ada ore yunze re yunze ma re yunze raza sumunga te soa. Te ada umbe yunze re yunze ma re yunze raza sumunga te soa. Te ada umbe yunze re yunze ma re yunze raza sumunga te soa. Te ada umbe yunze re yunze ma re yunze raza sumunga te soa. Te ada umbe yunze re yunze ma re yunze raza sumunga te soa. Te ada umbe yunze re yunze ma re yunze raza sumunga te soa. Te ada umbe yunze re yunze ma re yunze raza sumunga te soa. Te ada umbe yunze re yunze ma re yunze raza sumunga te soa. Te ada umbe yunze re yunze ma re yunze raza sumunga te soa. Te ada umbe yunze re yunze ma re yunze raza sumunga te soa. Te ada umbe yunze re yunze ma re yunze raza sumunga te soa. Te ada umbe yunze re yunze ma re yunze raza sumunga te soa. Te ada umbe yunze re yunze ma re yunze raza sumunga te soa. Te ada umbe yunze re yunze ma re yunze raza sumunga te soa. Te ada umbe yunze re yunze ma re yunze raza sumunga te soa. Te ada umbe yunze re yunze ma re yunze raza sumunga te soa. Te ada umbe yunze re yunze ma re yunze raza sumunga te soa. Te ada umbe yunze re yunze ma re yunze raza sumunga te soa. Te ada umbe yunze re yunze ma re yunze raza sumunga te soa. Te ada umbe yunze re yunze ma re yunze raza sumunga te soa. Te ada umbe yunze re yunze ma re yunze raza sumunga te soa. Te ada umbe yunze re yunze ma re yunze raza sumunga te soa. Te ada umbe yunze re yunze ma re yunze raza sumunga te soa. Te ada umbe yunze re yunze ma re yunze raza sumunga te soa. Te ada umbe yunze re yunze ma re yunze raza sumunga te soa. Te ada umbe yunze re yunze ma re yunze raza sumunga te soa. Te ada umbe yunze re yunze ma re yunze raza sumunga te soa. And we turn our attention to our prayer requests. And as always, as we begin our prayer requests, we invite all the beings who can hold our prayers and work on our behalf to bring about the fruition of these prayers. We invite those beings into the space. All the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Yadams, Dharma protectors, saints, angels, all the protectors of the land, all the elements. We invite our ancestors who can help and who want to help into the space as we offer these prayer requests as well. We begin by offering prayers for the Falcon Collective to move through conflict with generosity and compassion, and prayers for the land and Humboldt neighborhood. We continue to offer prayers for Nasir, Rachel, and the children as they try to navigate this world. Offering prayers for S and her parents as her elder father was hospitalized this week. Offering prayers for Kay as he deals with constant headaches and continues working. Offering prayers for my mother Susan, suffering with long COVID symptoms. Offering prayers for J.A., who is descending quickly into Alzheimer's, that he feels safety, care, and love for his family and those caring for him. Offering prayers for Chachu, who is struggling with staying grounded in times of deep internal work. I've been swallowed by generational anger, so prayers that I tread lightly with my husband and daughter until I consume it all. Prayers that I do consume it. Offering prayers for me and others experiencing overwhelm and confusion, that we find peace and clarity. For A and G, who are dealing with logistics of the death of their remaining parent and a very sneakily abusive upbringing, that they are protected while navigating all the heartbreak. Offering prayers for Sam's father, Tommy, experiencing health issues and undergoing treatment. Prayers that we all continue to cultivate compassion without obstruction. Offering prayers for Cameron that he receive the healing and support he needs. Prayers of gratitude for the many ancestors, deities, teachers, and spiritual guides that are living, supporting, and guiding my path. Prayers of support and gratitude for Lama Rod, and may his retreat be bountiful. Offering prayers for everyone healing from abusive relationships of any kind, processing complex trauma, healing wounds left by family, and our healing from overwhelming events. Prayers for anyone experiencing consistent physical pain. Prayers for loved ones healing from the grief of losing beloved Laura. May her soul be free. Prayers for expediency and my potential wisdom tooth removal. Prayers for fellow queer trans people of color. Prayers for A, who is grieving a loss of sorts of the non-abusive family who they wanted to have. Prayers for so many seeking refuge from fires, floods, war, displacement, poverty, homelessness, and more. Prayers for my friend Bev, healing from skin cancer surgery. Prayers for Dee, who is going through radiation for breast cancer. Prayers for my own continued healing. Prayers for my son to find some joy, contentment, or happiness in life. Prayers for my friend Drew, who is trying to quit meth. Prayers for my family to come together for healing and joy. And prayers for my friend A, who lost her beloved dog, Boots, last week. Prayers for all those affected by the massive floods in Pakistan, and to all battling the outcomes of climate crisis worldwide. Prayers for my elder cat, familiar, Ruby, who has a sudden hematoma, and for me in this moment of overwhelm and massive change, so frightening to someone who's battled multiple disabling conditions for many years. Prayers for all victims of mass shootings and their families. Prayers for me, Ocean, and my family as we recover from COVID and as I prepare to have gender-affirming top surgery in September. Prayers for all those affected by wildfires and other natural disasters. Prayers for me, Chandama, that through ease I will be able to act on my divine guidance without fear or overwhelm. My ancestors and benefactors, Andrea and Claire, as they heal from COVID. Prayers for Elle undergoing surgery tomorrow. Pakistan, India, Nepal, and all those affected by monsoon floods. A free, peaceful, autonomous Tibet, and all places experiencing violent oppression. All beings who are suffering, the awakening, and liberation of beings, Bhumi Ma, our sacred mother, for Lama Rod and all of Bhumi Spasha. Prayers for my own health and clarity as I work with chronic pain. Prayers for all to feel spaciousness. Prayers for Lama Rod for protection on retreats. Prayers for me to see clearly the suffering that I have power to influence and that which is not in my control, and for the cessation of the suffering of all beings, including my mother, with whom I am experiencing resurgent, heartbreaking relational patterns of anger, blame, shame, and guilt. Prayers for Hava Bailey, Tom Grana, Emily Coffey, and for myself, healing from knee surgery and ongoing tiredness in the recovery, that the knee heals with no further surgery. Prayers for continued connection with all the helping beings in the world. For healing for all of us to feel loved and connected. Prayers for Steve, who just got out of the ICU, but faces a long road to recovery. And then prayers for the smooth transition of my friend Rose, who joined the ancestors last week, leaving behind 2 beautiful children, a loving spouse, family, and friends. Prayers for healing and comfort for all who will miss her beautiful soul. And we continue to pray for so many beings right now, still struggling with a multitude of sickness and disease, including but not limited to COVID and monkeypox and polio, cancer, and to all forms of disease impacting our lives. We pray for an alleviation of suffering for all beings, that we remember our innate Buddha nature, that in this lifetime, as quickly as possible, may we also experience social liberation, freedom from the violence and the harm and impact of systems of dominance that not just impact our lives, but the land and all the beings connected to the land. I pray that we are able to deepen our connection to the profound blessings of Medicine Buddha, which is essentially the profound blessings of all of the awakened beings. May our faith grow, may our faith awaken into this deep, transformative experience of freedom. And may our awakening inspire countless beings to awaken as well. May we be healed. May all those connected to us be healed. May our descendants be healed. And may we one day enjoy liberation together. May it be so. As we return back to our mantra, just releasing the energy of the heart chakra out into the lives and the situations of all those we've offered prayers for, just releasing this energy into the world, along with the blessings and support and allyship of all of our invited guests. may the fruition of our prayers come to pass as quickly as possible. O te ata begenze ma begenze rasa sumungate soa. 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 Sumungatesua Te Ata Beganze Beganze Ma Beganze Rasa Sumungatesua. Just returning our attention now to the seats and the weight of our bodies making contact with the seats. Allowing the seat to just take care of us, surrendering back into the seat. Just letting go of any attempt to visualize anything. Turning our minds away from offering this healing energy from the heart center. And just sitting with this awakened energy in the body. We're going to turn our attention now just to our last mantra. This is the mantra of Durga Ma. Drum Durga Namaha. As we chant this, remembering that the mother is an expression of space, fluidity, movement. And we're praying to Dharma as this fierce, powerful expression of the mother for protection as we move back into our lives after this session. And as we're praying, just imagining that the space itself is shaping itself to protect us as we chant Sudharma. The mother who, to those who are working for liberation, is beautiful and kind and peaceful, but to those who are not working for liberation, who are creating havoc, she is fierce and merciless, merciless. And so another piece of this too for Durga Ma is when I chant Durga Ma, I just feel this really, I feel an energy that I visualize in my mind as this blue radiance emerging around me as a visual sign of her protection for me and so many beings. Om Jum Dare Namaha. Beginning with Om again. Om Jum Dare Namaha. Releasing the mother back into space. and thanking the earth for holding us, and thanking the seed for holding us, thanking all the elements of our practice that made our practice possible. And we thank Medicine Buddha and all the beings of healing and liberation associated with Medicine Buddha. I thank this community for your practice. Even when we can't see each other, we're still community together. We turn our attention now to Shantideva's prayer, which we will recite 3 times together. And we begin. May I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, may I always support the life of all the boundless creatures. And until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach to the ends of space. May I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, may I always support the life of all the boundless creatures. And until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space. And finally, may I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, may I always support the life of all the boundless creatures. And until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space. Okay. Take a look at some of the questions here. Okay, how to relate to the pandemic now? It's still here, but there seems to be no grounded way of recognizing that in public spaces. Also, we should talk about practice that gently holds uplifts, allows for being super tired. Yeah. Yeah, how do we relate to the pandemic? Well, in the same way, we relate to anything that feels as if it's being erased uh, and made invisible by people. Um, a lot of this is just it's about boundaries. It's like it's saying that this is something that's still real, and I have to take this seriously for my own health and well-being, and I don't really care what other people think. So it's like continuing to wear your masks, right, in public spaces, and distancing and being cautious. Like you still have to do that, and you may be the only person in your, you know, cohort of friends or family, right, who's doing this, and that's okay. Um, yeah, it's a personal. It has to be a personal thing. You know, it's like I don't see the urgency reflected back to me, but I still feel the urgency for myself, and I'm still making choices and decisions in response to the urgency and need, right, that I feel. So that's that. And then gently holds up lips, allows for being super tired. Yeah, you know, there are all kinds of energetic practices. But sometimes I think the real practice is just to let it be there. It's just to let that fatigue be there, and take care of it, because sometimes it's like there's no other way around it. There's no other way but to experience the fatigue, right? And what that brings in terms of what it means for our productivity and connectedness to communities and so forth. Um, and again, you know, my basic practices are releasing to the earth. Um, One particular practice that I've done before is imagining absorbing the life force energy around us from the phenomenal world, from plant consciousness, from the earth, from the elements, from ancestors who have it to give as well. That can be really helpful as well. Um, but we're tired for a reason as well, because we're in this huge cosmic shift in consciousness and in the continuum of this world system. So like we're not, no one's gonna escape not being exhausted, because we're all participating in this giant lift together. You know? What's this other question? I'm finding it difficult to stop thinking about something that happened a few months ago, and I quit a course because of the way a racist statement, uh, a racist comment was handled, or not handled. The situation was very frustrating for me, and I don't know how to complete it. I'll move past it. Any practice advice for this? Well, you know, it just seems like trust was betrayed. There's a deep hurt, you know, and it's not about moving past it, it's about tending to the hurt beneath it. You have to grieve this, essentially. Um, you have to grieve that this happened, that maybe this course was something you enjoyed, or this teacher in the course was someone you trusted, and that's been disrupted, and you grieve it. You know, you acknowledge the hurt, the sadness, you experience it, you release it. You let it go and let it take its time. You know, you have to let it move on its own time, right? We fixate on things like that because we haven't done the real deep work of grieving the hurt itself. Right? So you let yourself grieve. You know, you let yourself grieve, and it's okay, right? It's okay to be disappointed, right? It's okay to have this kind of disruption, you know? So allow yourself to experience the sadness, right? And let it go. Um, yeah, this fatigue and everything, yeah, it's just, this is it. Like, you know, I know a lot of folks um, still don't understand what's happening right now. Um, but we are pushing, pushing, pushing. Um, and those of us who are engaged in spiritual practice, we are pushing more than others, right? So that there's a consequence to that, and that's going to be, our energy is going into the collective liberation right now. Like we're doing a lot of extra work for people who don't know how to do this work for themselves or for the rest of us. So you have to keep pushing and pushing. This isn't going to be forever, right? But dare I say, some of you chose this, right? You chose to be here. You chose to be here right now, So we can't, it's okay to complain, right? Absolutely, complaining is legitimate, but then you keep working, you keep pushing, right? Complain, let it out, then go back to the work, and then when you die, like when you transition, like you'll get it, right? And that will be amazing. There'll be so much joy when you like transition, knowing, and well, you'll transition getting insight into what you actually did in this life, and you will be very surprised and joyful. But you have to practice. Like you won't get there if you're not practicing, right? But we're pushing. We're all pushing. It's like tug of war sometimes. We're all tugging, But I see it more as push. We're just pushing through. We're pushing. The balance is coming. We're coming back into balance. We are. But we just have to keep it up. Keep moving. We have a couple of more years to go. I know that sounds like really disheartening, but like the payoff is going to be worth it. I don't know what the payoff is going to be, but it will be worth it. Well, cheers, everyone. Well, thank you all so much for holding space. Please stay connected to the space, and let's continue just to pray for each other right now as well. Okay? Sweet. Well, thank you, everyone. Please stay safe. Please stay well. Do whatever you can to take care of yourself and your communities. Keep praying, keep practicing, keep drinking your water, as well. Okay, all right. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you next month.